There's been a lot of discourse lately about the political dress code thanks to Senator John Fetterman. Fetterman is of course famous for his signature hoodie and gym shorts look. This is something that became quite synonymous with him while he was on the campaign trail. The 6'8" Fetterman used his fashion choices to style himself as more of a man of the people type, in contrast to his opponent, Dr. Oz. Fetterman characterized Oz as an out-of-state and out-of-touch celebrity who just wanted to use Pennsylvania as a way to get into power. Despite campaigning in his usual attire, Fetterman hung up the hoodie and shorts in favor of a suit as soon as he actually became a senator. Earlier this year, Fetterman was hospitalized for depression, and upon his return to the Senate, he came back in his regular outfit. The Senate, however, is a body with a lot of rules, which up until recently included an informal dress code of business attire. To avoid violating the Senate dress code, Fetterman would vote from the door of the chamber, therefore bypassing the rule by a technicality. The conversation around this has heated up recently as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has now amended the rule. There's been a lot of Republican backlash to the rule change. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said,
I think I'm pretty safe in saying most, if not all, Republican senators think we ought to dress up to go to work. And so I can't imagine that we're going to be wearing jeans on the Senate floor anytime soon.
There's even been pushback from some of Fetterman's Democratic colleagues like Joe Manchin. An important caveat to the rule, however, is that it only applies to senators. Anyone else who would find themselves on the floor of the Senate, such as a staffer or a journalist, still has to adhere to the original dress code. Is this the issue that our politicians should be most focused on? No, definitely not. But it does beg the question, does what a politician wears matter?
That's what I'm talking about. Got the butter cow.
For years, Ivy League educated politicians have thrown on regular people's clothes to campaign at places like the Iowa State Fair in an attempt to seem more human in what clearly isn't their regular attire. I personally think that voters are smart enough to see through the regular folk cosplay. In Fetterman's case, the outfit choice seemed genuine and organic, as that really appears to be what he actually wears on a daily basis, but the same can't really be said about others. If you're watching this video, you're probably a cool person who enjoys cool things, which is why you should check out our sponsor, Bobbletopia. Bobbletopia has countless cool bobbleheads, and if you use code Andre Dutra, you can even get 10% off. If you enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I recently started a Patreon, and any support there is really appreciated. I'm quite fascinated in how men's fashion has evolved over the years. The political dress code has been relatively stagnant since the introduction of the modern suit and tie, so perhaps this is just one more step in the evolution of what formality is.
Shirtless Joe. A photo of the president at the beach is causing quite a stir today.
Back in the day, politicians used to wear something called a morning suit for special events. This outfit came to prominence during the Victorian era, and its style certainly reflects that. The morning suit is identifiable by its extra long coat jacket, striped pants, and top hat. Think of the Monopoly Man, for example. During the 1800s, American presidents started wearing these outfits on the day of their inauguration, a tradition which lasted up until JFK's swearing-in ceremony in 1961. Due to, let's say, unforeseen circumstances, Lyndon Johnson didn't wear one while he was being sworn in, but I don't think we can blame him for that. After being elected in his own right and receiving a proper inauguration, Johnson still chose to forego tradition and be sworn in a business suit instead of the traditional morning suit, though I think he had bigger things to worry about. The morning suit was brought back by Ronald Reagan, ever the traditionalist, but it didn't really catch on. He even switched to a business suit himself for his second inauguration. I don't think anyone from the Victorian era would survive seeing Bill Clinton jog in his really short shorts. I'm sure some of you will remember the Obama tan suit controversy from back in the day. Oh, how far we've come.
President Obama's decision to wear a light tan suit at yesterday's news conference. He was wearing a tan suit.
Light tan suit.
I think it was shocking to a lot of people. Is this an effort to make him look warmer?
You might say this is a loss in formality in our politics, but in reality, what is considered formal in the United States is shifting ever so slowly. The age of the internet has made our politicians more accessible than ever before.
Welcome to the wide world of web.
They're not just the people that control our government, they're the people that we want to see be funny on Twitter, apparently. Mitt Romney might have been a governor, senator, and presidential nominee, but what we really care about is him watching Ted Lasso. Television and radio brought politicians into our home, and social media is the next step in that evolution.
I
really, really, really hope that I don't get imposter first.
We want to see ourselves reflected in our politicians, so it makes sense that we might want to see them wearing some regular clothes. The question is, should politicians be regular people? Should we see politicians as the best and brightest representations of the American people, or should we see them as regular folks like me or you? Is Washington the West Wing, or is it Veep?
Because I've met some people, okay, real people, and I gotta tell you, a lot of them are f***ing idiots.
In my opinion, the answer lies somewhere in the middle. Elected representatives are regular people like everybody else, but they happen to hold offices of immense power that have a meaning beyond any one person. They have these positions and titles that command respect only because they're representing their constituents. Whether or not wearing informal clothing is disrespectful towards the voters is another question. But then again, don't voters decide who they're going to elect to office? A similar conversation happened last year when all the world leaders at the G7 met without ties in this picture that I can't help but chuckle at. I've been reading a lot about Franklin Roosevelt, particularly his meetings with Stalin and Churchill. Looking at photos of that compared to the photos of the G7 sure does convey a change in tone, am I right? Some might argue that the relaxation of dress code is due to a rising distrust of institutions. If your traditional perception of a politician is someone with a suit and tie and you're looking for a political outsider, then someone who refuses to wear a suit and tie might be attractive to you. What is a politician if not just a salesman who's trying to sell themselves to voters? During the 2020 Democratic presidential primary, outsider candidate Andrew Yang made the conscious decision not to wear a tie on stage. Of course, the most dramatic form of protest.
When he went to go meet Obama for the first time, he didn't wear a tie. And one of Obama's staffers, had to give him the tie he was wearing off his shirt. And I mean, in that case, he probably should have worn a tie. For the debates, he's trying to let people see who he is. So I think that's okay.
Before entering public life, Yang was in the business world, where we have seen the rise of regular guy CEOs who ditch the suit and tie look for something as basic as a t-shirt and jeans.
Smoking these meats here.
All kinds of office workers used to have to wear suit and ties, which seems to be mostly a thing of the past. Are politicians just going to start dressing casually? No, I honestly don't think they could bear it. A suit and tie makes somebody feel important. Just because a rule change doesn't mean you're gonna have Bill Clinton short shorts on the floor of the Senate. If casual wear hurts you politically, then you probably won't wear it. I do think that formal wear is a sign of respect. It says, I am a serious person and I am here to do a serious job. But I don't really know where I ultimately fall on this issue, if I'm being quite honest. Maybe your comments will help convince me one way or the other. I've seen that being more forceful is apparently helpful with getting engagement, so leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, leave a comment down below, support me on Patreon, and check out our sponsor Bubbletopia. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next week.